So, gonna get myself settled in real quick and start telling you all about something fun. So, this is gonna be the first video. I wanted to try to record something as I get myself settled in here. This is just gonna be real straightforward. Try to talk and act normal, make noise, because this is real. But I have the wonderful opportunity and space to be able to kind of make recordings and things here at my office, and want to take advantage of it for some things I want to make. Those of you who do not know me, my name is Derrick. I am a senior art director for a cozy marketing department, and I'm also big nerd, an illustrator, kind of in the classic sense, and I enjoyed this immensely, and so it's something that I like to talk about. I like to try to teach others when I can, and I thought I was going to, kind of be more dressed to the part and stuff, and kind of aptly am wearing my Silver Surfer t-shirt, and it kind of goes along with the theme of what I wanted to be able to make a short series of videos about. It's going to be really raw, down to earth, gonna get our hands dirty and make art. And so the reason I wanted to kind of sit down and do a quick intro today is because tomorrow is May the 4th, big Star Wars fan day, and myself and some coworkers, we recently have been watching the Light and Magic documentary on Disney Plus, and we have had a chance, as somebody who loves to get into the weeds on crafting and making things, hand-drawn illustrator since I was a kid. I am nerding out hard on this stuff, and watching John Dykstra and so many of the other teams at Industrial Light and Magic found the company in its raw form as just creative people with the ability to make things and problem solve with their hands and with their eyes and with their minds. It's been an inspiration, and it really kind of linked together a lot of things that I like to make and have been wanting to make for a while. And I have a really big thing I want to do, and I've been trying to figure out bite-sized ways to do it. And there was a fun conversation I was having with my daughter yesterday morning on the way to school. And I guess you could say I kind of connected some of the things that have been inspiring me from the Industrial Light and Magic documentary, and just things I like to draw, and the types of sensations that I like to get out of illustration work, and came up with this idea for a fun, small project, I guess you could say kind of a short series of almost high-level storyboards to a degree. It's very much a narrative, visual storytelling experience, and I wanted to create something that was very spatial and galactic, and have a chance to teach some really important things when it comes to design and illustration. The biggest ones being composition is one of my favorite things to do, is compose things, including myself. And contrast, and those are things that are wonderfully approached when it comes to things like space stories. And so I didn't want to do something that was necessarily horribly dramatic, but I wanted to do something that was intense. And talking to my daughter on the way to school, we kind of came up with this idea. She's been working on a project talking about a botanist who has basically single-handedly helped to save some plants here on Earth, and even one of them from basically the brink of extinction. And through the process, he has helped to salvage and essentially bring this plant back to a form of being able to seed. And it's amazing. And so I was like, how do I combine something like a spacefaring tale with something as neat as the experience of being able to help a life form, even in its simplest form, a plant. And So I came up with this idea of being able to make essentially a short series of really detailed storyboards / illustrations, describing a tale of the somebody who kind of learned from this botanist. And I'll give some history on the next video. But basically they are transplanting this plant across the galaxy. And see, left to right, so it would be across the galaxy. We're reading your way. So the idea is to essentially take some of the things that I want to be able to illustrate and wrap it around a fun little story, and then weave that through a tale that we can follow through space. And so I kind of went through the study a bit today to look at the aspect ratios of the original Star Wars movies, and wanted to kind of nail down a way to lock that onto paper. And I gave myself some constraints because a lot of good designs come with borders. And as an art director, I'm trying to make sure that I can work within a system, work within borders that are set forth, and still make something amazing. And so the limitations that I gave myself were sort of arbitrary, but the idea is I wanted to create something. I've got this nice portfolio book at the house that my wonderful wife just recently got, actually. It's an 11 by 14 portfolio book, and so I thought it'd be really fun to be able to take these pieces whenever they're done and be able to put them in there. So I've limited myself to a page size. I've limited myself to basically 15 panels. I've limited myself to an aspect ratio, and then I'm going to limit myself on a medium. And I want to create ways for people to be excited about handmade works. And so this is going to be just like they did with the storyboards. If you get a chance to watch the documentary, it is amazing. Seeing the concept art and the storyboard art is just, it's stunning what they were able to do with basically lines and paper. And so I want to kind of emulate that with this project. I want to get out the old inkwell that I've got and paper towels and white paint and toothbrush, and we're gonna make space. And so I've given myself these constraints, and then I'm going to essentially map the emotional journey that the ship has. I even asked my daughter for a bug. I wanted to model the ship after something organic. And so we've got this fun bug idea that I'm going to sit and kind of do some ship concepts, because it was part of my favorite things to see in the documentary. And so I'm going to show the process of coming up with a project like this, of narrowing down how to work within the constraints, to concept things out, to make things in a physical manner, to build it on paper, because it can be cleaned up later. It can be made digital later, and they did that in a lot of ways as they progressed with making the films. But the reality is the hand skills of the talent involved is what made it happen. And so this little project, I'm calling it, I believe the name in working right now is basically the Magdalena Moran, a space opera. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to see if I can find some license-free, very classic actual opera to be able to map to the short journey and be able to illustrate to the audio. And then whenever the final showcase of illustrations is done, I'm essentially going to do a showcase of the full image and then fly through essentially kind of a camera follow on some of the imagery to time out with the music. And so I want to create kind of an experience. And part of the experience is showing you all how it's built. And so the first stage is kind of here. I've essentially mapped out a simple illustration, a loose logo idea, some handwriting, but this is the template that I'm going to use. And with this, I'll be able to establish the general frame, start being able to work on storyboards, make annotations for the different things that I want to make for every page to kind of hit story beats. And so it's going to be a fun experience. And I want to kind of teach along the way the thought process that goes behind not just composing a piece or a frame, but composing an entire work, to compose a project. And in doing so, to be able to then carry on that thought process whenever you go to another project, to think at that higher level and create something that is more intense and powerful and entertaining. And so I'm going to take the inspiration that I've seen from the show, my love of handmade works, and we're going to tell a story. We're going to take a trip, and we'll learn some things on the way. So thank you. I'm going to try to make this, easy to post tomorrow. It's not going to be heavily edited. I'm so thankful for the space that I have to work in. So these are easy to set up. This is a real quick setup in my space. I won't show necessarily me just making art. I may post those things on my social medias, specifically Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can just look up DutzWorks. I'll have it in the comments of this video. And so I'm going to try to make it simple to where I have things in process and stages to be able to show whenever I do maybe a weekly video as I progress through the project. I think the next video will kind of show just an outline of the process of things that I'm going to be doing, a couple of the tools I've made for myself, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. I'm going to try to keep it to where it is made in a general, decent amount of time, but I have other projects that I'm weaving in, a couple of the big things that I can talk about in another video, some fun stuff, but this is something personal, and I'm very thankful for a chance to be able to try to make it fun. So I guess all I have to say is compose yourself and be ready. Thank you.